So dudes, welcome to the director's commentary for the 2 TikToks I made at Level Up Expo 2024. This is a very collaborative process. There is no way I could have made this by myself. Like, I would say I'm pretty lucky to be around people with a great sense of humor and who are good at comedy. You kind of just have to know people who are willing to be on camera and who are not camera shy because you want to get the best performances for the audience. And plus, a lot of these people in the video actually came up with their own lines. Some of the only ones that I wrote were for the part I was in, basically, and the pizza scene for this We're Con Goers trend. So it starts off with Babaluna. He actually made up that line. Right on the spot too. I just showed him the list of jokes I already wrote down, and he just came up with his own problem because he couldn't read it through the blindfold and eye contacts. That was a great first start. Actually, the first clip of the day on Friday. I was actually supposed to start shooting this video on Saturday when everyone was already comfortable with the layout of the convention, but you can't pass this one up. This pizza scene was also on Friday with Lux. So I actually invited her to be in this video, but I didn't think she was going to do this part. It just happened to be pure luck. The fact that she was hungry and was also sitting in a really good position because the angle we got was her walking towards the camera and me sliding into the booth seat while she took the chair seat. Yep, that scene had to be a one-take wonder because she was going to take a bite right into the pizza. Now this scene right here was probably the last one that I filmed, I believe, because it's at nighttime. And this was also at the time where I was exhausted from all the jokes that I wrote. Halloween here and Aaron were going to meet up with me up here because I was talking to the Monica, and at this point I was like, oh crap, I don't have a line. What am I gonna do? A photographer kind of came out of nowhere and wanted to take pictures of them. I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. While he's taking pictures of you, I'll try to write up a joke. And then at that very moment they put their bags down on the floor, and that's when it hit me. Oh wait, isn't that a thing? Some kind of person or a cosplay support person to hold people's bags? Well, that's where this skit was born. Originally, there was always supposed to be 4 of us making it. Aaron, Halloween, and this guy, Z. There was a miscommunication where Aaron grabbed his friend group to get the bags, but Z also grabbed his friend group to get bags because they didn't know that they were asking for more people. So at the end of this shoot, we had 12 or 13 people? No, 13, because there was 5 people on the left, 5 people on the right with bags, plus the 3 main characters, so 13 people. That was probably the funniest scene for me. Bochi, Dorito, and Cookie Cause. This is one of the lines that I wrote the night before. So we had to do a couple takes here because this scene was very hard to line up. Basically, he was going to walk in one direction and Rebecca was going to walk in the other direction. It all came down to just timing. And this sketch was inspired by a Korean prank where there were 2 guys on a phone trying to find each other, but they were actually next to each other but just never looked in their direction. Now this next scene is Matt and Rosaria. He came up with this line himself, but since I didn't have my headphones on really, I didn't catch that he said we're cosplayers instead of con goers.
We're cosplayers with big props.
That is a reminder to always wear your audio or plug in headphones to your audio jack so you can catch these lines. Yeah, that was the first, I believe that was the second take, because the first take, it was my fault for doing a wide shot. I wanted to do a reveal, so with the fern right there, that's the reveal. So for this next scene, I gave Matt a shot at directing and composing, and we also got a free Ren played by Stray Buns. So he told me that she was naturally good at acting angry, and this is a line I had in mind that I really wanted to do because it really does happen. Actually, all of these happen, but this is just one that I'm familiar with because I've seen a ton of horror stories from other people. It was a combination of a lot of things here. I took a lot of references before shooting my own version, of course. So a mistake I noticed from a lot of other people is or maybe it's not a mistake, but something that I wanted to change was when people start their lines, there was a weird lag and they would start walking as they said the line. But for my version, I wanted people to take 5 steps before and then say the line to make it look like they're already in motion. And we also have people alternating. So the first scene, Gojo is walking to the left. Second scene, we have someone walking towards the camera. Another one towards the camera, the other Gojo walking to the right, walking to the left, and the last one I'm not even walking. No, so I think I put a lot of consideration into the loopability of these videos. I try to make it as loopable as possible due to the nature of Reels, Shorts, and TikToks. They'll just replay forever and ever and ever. And if you can get people to not even notice that it loops, that's a really good thing. Yeah, a lot of takes were done except for the pizza one, because like sometimes the background doesn't look nice, or the lighting was off, or I jacked up a zoom on accident. Usually it's like cameraman error or my directing error. A lot of these people like nail it the first time around, but 97.7% it's me that screws up due to bad camera work or bad directing. The only time someone screws up is if they just like forget their line.
We're cosplay. Shit.
Oh, we're Con Goers.
Skibbity toilet.
I forgot the line.
But I can't blame them for that. Everything's my responsibility. I have to make everyone look good, present everyone in the best light. I try and get the audience to laugh. So if there's any problems, it's on me. Yep. And that was it for the We're Con Goers trend. We'll start with this wear trend now. So for this one, this was this was hard to make, not because it was like physically hard. It was more of a mental challenge for me, because the first one I made at SumiCon, I thought that was it. I thought that was gonna be the one. I don't have to make any more of these. And then I read a few of the comments that were asking for a part 2 of this, and I was like, all right, it would be a challenge to attempt a part 2, so I'm up for it. The one major challenge in making the wear trend video at conventions is that it's like that Forrest Gump quote where he says life is like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get. Well, you never really know you never really know which cosplayers you're gonna run into, so it's extremely RNG based, and whatever cosplayers you run into is kind of what you gotta deal with. So Level Up Expo, my objective was to go for more of the video game characters rather than the anime characters this time, because it is a gaming convention after all. So that's why you see like DDLC, Nintendo, Hoyoverse stuff, Halo, Resident Evil. There are 2 Chainsaw Man people, because like I've meant to have a Chuanxi in one of these, and also an Arlecchino from Genshin Impact, just because those are my favorite characters, but unfortunately I could not find an Arlecchino at this con. I think she was the second person I recorded, but I put her first because a lot of people in the first version I made, when I said she writes poems to Katana Man, that was a reference to Yoru / Asa Mitaka from Chainsaw Man. A lot of people said, oh, it should have been Monica, so there you go. This was actually, the objective for part 2 was to obviously make it better than part 1. So in order to do that, you gotta do something new, because if you use the same old techniques from the first part, it just wouldn't be fun to watch for me and maybe the audience that already saw part 1 that wants to see something new. Like this Nintendo one, I've never seen a wear trend where the person talking actually appears on the screen. So this was actually Lux's idea. That was a very good one. Like I even told her on the spot, that's a very interesting concept. Like never seen that one before. So I think, for part 2, 2 people on the screen. Same for the next clip. Stell and Kalis, 2 people on the screen. It's like how Bungie went from Halo 1 to Halo 2. They added dual wield. Speaking of Bungie, Master Chief. Yeah, I just had to have him in the video. That was just a really good shot. She has red bunny ears. So yeah, I made this one on the spot too. I actually didn't think I was going to run into a Eula. She's also one of my favorite characters in Genshin Impact. And this Fallout guy actually, when I finished recording that clip, he actually said, oh, that wear trend is so good. So that's when I knew, yep, this was awesome. The She Hates Men line, this guy actually came up with it. I was originally going to say like she has an eye patch or something, but I thought his was way better, so we used it. She's a lesbian. So I was kind of stepping on that line because I wanted this version to be more like, family friendly, kid friendly, but I had to throw it in there because Chuanxi is just too awesome to cut out. Also, if you notice, they don't scream where. I kind of directed them to say it in character, like nonchalantly, and I think it turned out pretty good because there were a few comments that said they were the best ones. So that's also another change for part 2 from part 1. So originally, this line was supposed to be different, but Matt here, changed it up to be more in character and fit the game. Still made me laugh though. Also, if you notice in this part, I use my hand to actually point at someone to give more of a POV perspective, and that's also another change from part 1 to part 2. This one was also not my line. My friend here, Keith, came up with this one because he's cosplaying as a Resident Evil character, and I have no idea about like any Resident Evil references, so it's a good one. Even if you don't play Resident Evil, it's still awesome because of what happens. Oh my god, this guy's acting is so good. George. I think I've seen him at a few cons before, but like I didn't know who he was. But I instantly knew he was funny. And then the second time I met him at an anime night mart, he was a chopper and volunteered to be in the background of some of the shots doing weird things. So it was cool. Another addition to this part 2 was the music track and the sound effects. Because part 1 was purely just raw audio. So I threw in a music track too to, you know, lighten the mood a little bit. Also, another thing to note is the order these are placed in. This was very calculated. This isn't random. So it starts off with Monica because, you know, the first frame of these things matter. So you need something bright, eye-catching, and something that is loopable, because if you notice the carpet here matches up with the carpet for the last clip with the Resident Evil cosplays, because when it loops, it won't be so jarring for the audience to make that split-second decision in their brain like, oh, what the heck? They're just gonna see carpet, Monica again. And then that's when you can do like the hard transition. That's when I also had to introduce the other voice, because if it was if it started off with Lux's voice, hypothetically, people have that expectation of that's going to be the whole video, and then they'll be like, oh, why is it this random guy's voice? But if I switch it to Lux right away, it's like, okay, there's a little bit of a alternation going on here, and then you bring it back to the trash can. Jackal in the courtyard. He didn't have to say anything because he's Master Chief, so I just added the sound effect there. And you also don't want to start with a silent character, or else people are going to understand that this is the wear trend. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's my thought process in making these. Also, have good source material. If you're going to make a trend, try to make it the best you can. Try to think of your target audience. You know, the audience just wants to see a good show. Put your best foot forward. And make sure everyone you record is, you know, comfortable with being in. Like, imagine showing this video to the people who are in the video. You know, would they be like cool with having their face in it? You know, because like, you don't want to have people who are like uncomfortable or like not in the mood to be in a video. You want to like, you know, present them in the best light as well. Like everyone's having fun. It was a fun shoot. Alright, that's about it. Thanks for watching this director's commentary, and let's make some more videos.